Untamed is going to be untamed. It's going to be a little crazy. I want to talk to my people. I want to talk to my brothers and sisters. We can have grace and humility in how we interact with other people.
Oh, hot dog, look at you.
And nobody talked about what's really happening.
And let's have conversations about what truth is.
Yo, I'm starting to realize the people that like went to college and all of that and basically were force-fed this narrative, they're the hardest people to get through to when you awaken. It's like whatever they were taught, it makes them stuck in a low vibration. So when you're in a higher vibration speaking to them, they're like, you're crazy. And it's like nothing you say, no matter how many supporting details, no matter how many footnotes, no matter how many motherfucking screenshots, and they don't care. You will not shatter their reality. They are stuck in the matrix. And that's what I'm realizing. Oh, they want a bunch of fools with degrees running around so that the darkness has the freedom to operate, but everybody with this degree in their head, they think, I'm so smart, nothing can touch me. Whole time they being fucking used. They don't even know they operating through life in the darkness. Oh man, it's pathetic.
So I'm so glad you guys are here today. I am here to change the way you see things, and so I wanted to put this up because, you know, this is the new look. And I was gonna sit here and I'm not gonna waste any time. I want to bring David in. Ooh, that sounds terrible. This is my favorite show because I get to be with my brother David. But before he comes in, actually, we'll go ahead and bring him in. I got to make myself a tinfoil hat. David, welcome to the show.
Hey, Joe. Good luck. It's an improvement.
Welcome to my world, David.
Yeah, well, it shouldn't be like that.
I want to, hold on, I'm not done yet. Oh, I got these too. I just want... I can't do it. I feel like my hat's not staying on that tight. Oh Jesus, there you go. There. What do you think? You got it? Is it?
I see it, man. It's a good look. You should keep it. You're gonna need that hat. Keep it on.
I said they're gonna screenshot that one. That's gonna be perfect. Brother, it's so good to see you. It is really good to see you. I am. We've been through so much over the last 6 years, and we've been betrayed so many times by so many people. And you know, I have faith in Jesus for a reason, and it's not because everything always works out. And I'm like, you know, Jesus should have protected me from this, should have protected me from this, because it's not always the way it goes. And the same goes for what President Trump is doing. I find it difficult to see what's happening is good for America, especially when you have people that other countries that are betraying President Trump and saying they're going to do one thing, and it really it brings me back to the fact that, you know, you're starting to cleanse and get rid of people like Pam Bondi that, you know, maybe are standing obstructionists, but he's got so much of that happening inside of his realm that it becomes very difficult to. It's very difficult
For some people. It doesn't. I mean, look, yesterday was full-blown retardation. Full-blown retardation. And the people that are jump ship on Trump should be ashamed of themselves, honestly.
Yeah.
I mean, he threw out the bait, talked about wiping out a civilization. The civilization's not Iran. And anyone that understands the geopolitical matters that are going on there, it's the banking elites that prop up Iran as a proxy. And they do the same thing with Israel to some degree as well. But when you stop seeing Iran as this country, because it's not, It's just a place where the bankers and the elites get to throw us all into foreign policy bewilderment. And anytime a president wants to push back against the elites, what do? Lloyd's of London comes in and says, we're not going to insure vessels. Oil prices skyrocket, 20% of the oil. Grocery prices go up, and everyone needs someone to point the finger at, and that person's Donald Trump. Donald Trump doesn't want to play the same game that every single president has played before him. So what has he done? He basically identified Lloyd's of London and said, what gives you the power to insure anything? You're relying on the United States Navy. Who controls the United States Navy? The commander-in-chief does. He took that from them. So while you've had some short-term volatility, this isn't about Iran. This is about taking out the Bank of England, Lloyd's of London, and their centralized cartel. And so it's odd to me that you see all of this wild vacillation of people that have claimed to be MAGA or Trump supporters completely give the same talking points as Hakeem Jeffries. When you see MAGA and Alex Jones and people talking about invoking the 25th Amendment, and it's indistinguishable from the radical left. It's another expose where Trump is going, I'm going to flush you out. I'm going to flush out all you fakers. And that's exactly what he did. And wouldn't you know, by the time the smoke settled, the straits are open. And people that are saying, well, they were already open. Well, they were already open with a gun to our heads. And that's where things have changed now. Trump's not interested in forever wars. He's not interested in doing the same game that we've been doing for 25 years. He wants to defeat the enemy and ensure that we're not going to bend fealty to the petrodollar. That's what's really going on.
No, look, you're absolutely right. I didn't get in the fray with anything that was said about Iran and what he said. Matter of fact, I didn't even address it. I just watched, as other people did. Because, frankly, we've seen this before. We've seen President Trump before say things and do things that push people to expose themselves.
Yeah,
clearly. And
well,
so
check this out, Joe. Let's throw this out there really quick. Mm-hmm. You've got 16, 17 years worth of tweets for Trump.
Yeah.
And almost every time he sends out a tweet, for the most part, people's heads blow up. But you revisit those tweets now through hindsight. Where has he gotten it wrong? I mean, give him 6 months to a year on any tweet that you go on, and everyone that he has issued a mean tweet towards, you revisit it with the information that comes to light that he obviously already had. Some people would say that those tweets weren't mean enough.
He got the COVID vaccine wrong. He got COVID wrong. But I mean,
Depends
it's
on
okay.
how
You can't bat 100, right? I mean, it's not. I take nothing away from him, but he hasn't batted 100. I mean, the COVID vaccine and the ventilators and everything else. I mean, they caused real harm. But I don't think that was his decision. I just think that he was given information, and he can't be a doctor too, huh?
No, it's another thing. It's like I think he's challenging something that's way bigger than. I mean, since when did anyone in the Untamed audience get their medical advice from a politician? Can someone tell me that?
Zero.
Okay.
I was just pushing back because I mean, but his mean tweets are always on point. But nobody's gotten arrested.
But you got to take the world as you find it, and so the world that descended upon we the people in 2020 was with a population that largely thought that vaccines were good, largely thought that Anthony Fauci was a good person, maybe not, the segment of the people that wore that tinfoil hat. And so I think Trump's dealing with the people, he was dealing with the mainstream media saying, okay, we're going to gaslight you to death. We're going to have the case counts going up on TV. And guess who's going to be blamed as that case count goes up if he doesn't select and embrace our chosen depopulation expert, who was Anthony Fauci. Yeah. So Trump said, okay, I can't beat that because you guys have been brainwashed into thinking this guy's a good guy, despite what he did in the 1980s with AIDS, despite what he's done for decades.
Ebola, I mean, you name it, all the way down.
And
downstream.
then he puts them front and center, and within 2 weeks, he has distanced himself from Anthony Fauci, and Fauci becomes a villain during the Trump admin. It's an elegant game.
Well, let's we live in this. The first video I put up was about the Matrix, and you have people that live this way, and you have this person, this victimology. I don't know if you saw it. We haven't. I want to get into the Dominion ICX machines, and there was a great the skiff post that was put up. But before that, I want to show you this. This is somebody that basically is mad at us or thinks that I don't even know what. Here, play it.
If you're offended by minorities talking about their lived experiences, you're the problem. If you're offended by women saying they're afraid of men, you're the problem. If you're immediately reprimanding instead of listening and understanding, if you're offended by people's lived experiences, you're the problem. Oh!
If you're retarded, clap your hands.
It's more pageantry. Like, look, I get what you're saying, but we're entering the age where people master their sound bites, and what's lacking is real discernment. You know, I've been following this guy on X, Dr. Taylor Marshall, big voice for Catholics, and I appreciate a lot of what he does to defend the Catholic faith. But when you start resorting into talking points of if people don't watch offending Catholics or offending this group, you're not going to have the Catholic vote. And I'm sitting there going, how about the rigged software? How about mail-in ballots? How about offense is not what drives the rigging and stealing of elections? And that is another form of pageantry. It's we've got all of these people that are clamming around and talking about surface level issues as if they have any basis in reality. And that's probably why I'm coming in all guns firing, Joe. I mean, I don't mean to give you the brunt of it. I'm just sitting there going, I'm tired of the retard pendulum swinging and everyone taking the license where they know that we're so stupid as a population that we're gonna forget about what they did 24 hours ago, and they're gonna be all on board. And I'm just tired of it. It's like we're surrounded by absolute morons who are blowing around like the wind. And it would just be nice if people could just take a reflective stance of what we've been through collectively as a nation over the past 15 years. And then all of a sudden, the world makes sense.
No, I've been watching you on fire for the last couple of days, and I've been doing this Colorado chair race and trying to support other candidates and listening to people. So I've, and I'm trying to plan this 90-day plan for a Colorado GOP that is largely non-existent, doesn't exist. We don't even have an office anymore for the Colorado GOP, and we're almost $300,000 or $400,000 in the hole. We have no money. The RNC is all but written off the Colorado GOP, and I have to go in and fix it in 90 days, basically 6 months, right? Mm-hmm. And but I've been watching you because I've watched all your stuff, and there was a video that was put out by, and you can put us next to this, by the way. There's a video that's put out about the Dominion ICX. Now look, we've seen this before. They're able to scan, tabulate, and mark ballots after the time when the voter handles the ballot last. And we know this, right? We know that the system is inherently flawed to a degree where it was designed that way to steal the vote of the people. David, what you're talking about right now, all these things, the only, and my attorney and I were talking about this morning because I had a Coomer deal. I had a Coomer hearing where they're trying to do a protection order because they don't like mean tweets. But if you admit that the election systems are stolen, you admit that every judicial appointment has to go out the window, every law that's passed has to be rescinded, every executive order and every other thing that has been done to affect the American people, including tax hikes and everything else, all that has to go away. So the constitutional crisis for them is, how do we admit that we've been stealing elections for decades and still keep the wheels on the bus, right? And my attorney looked at me, who's a really good guy, and said, now you get it. Like this is why there's this trepidation on both sides, because that means that none of them were elected, right?
Yeah, I mean, I think there's a spectrum, right? Like I think if you reduce it to that, it makes sense. It holds up. The spectrum that I would look at is that you take an oath, and whether or not you had faulty actions that were part of the election system, that you can violate that oath through omission or commission, through actual acts or through negligence on not giving heed to the worries of the American people. And so I would carve out a niche for those that have tried their best to get to the bottom of it. But here's the thing. When you add them all up, I don't know if I could count them on two hands. So it's kind of a distinction without a, I don't know what the term is, but you're still at the same place because our political class is so left wanting when it comes to actionable items, right? Yeah, it's depressing.
All right, so I want to play this video. This is the Dominion ICX machines. This is from the skiff. I think this video goes back about 6 years. It's been out there a long time. We've talked about it a bit. It's about 4 minutes long. Let's play it.
A tabulator should never, ever be able to vote a ballot, okay? And these tabulators that you're using today can, okay? That's a problem, and here's why.
The voting machine is called the Image Cast Evolution, or ICE machine. It's made by Dominion.
The Dominion Voting Image Cast Evolution, or ICE, is an all-in-one accessible paper-based voting system.
This Image Cast Evolution voting machine has the physical ability to mark votes onto the ballot after the last time the voter sees the ballot.
As a bad guy, I love it because all I got to do is change the logic slightly, and I put in a voted ballot, and I see that the machine sees that I didn't vote on some down ballot race. So it votes for me. It reverses the ballot. And what do we do when it reverses? We just feed it back in. Now, what I need to tell you, because of my travels, we saw something very unusual occurring across the country that is out of spec. In Georgia, the reversal rate on the tabulators was between 15 and 20%. And I said, what did you do? Well, we just feed it a second time and then it takes it. Sometimes we have to feed it a third time and it takes it. But it always takes it. So you got to stop and say, well, what's going on here? Why is the tabulator reversing the ballot in the first place and then it takes it on the second or third try?
Are you talking about when they're using the ATI for it?
No.
So are you talking about if it's undervoted?
A normal ballot, no indication, no undervote, no problem. It reverses the ballot.
And that's a disaster if we lose the ability to trust that the paper trail really represents what the voter intended.
Andrew Appel is a professor of computer science at Princeton University.
My research is in software verification and election machinery.
Image cast evolution, where it's used in the United States. New Mexico in 2013, Ohio and Tennessee in 2013, California, Florida, Minnesota, Virginia, and Wisconsin in 2016.
The machine is a combination ballot marking device and optical scanner. According to information on the company's website, the voting machine is the only optical scan tabulator using a single ballot paper path. That means it's a printer and a scanner in one.
If the machine is hacked, then they can install software that marks votes on the ballot after the voter last saw it. And if the piece of paper can be marked by the computer after the last time the voter saw it, then the whole paper trail is compromised.
Security experts do not believe that the ICE machine is the only voting machine being sold with the ability to add votes to paper ballots. Appel and other computer scientists believe that two versions of the Express Vote, a ballot marking device by another company, ES&S, have the same capability. That machine has already been purchased by half a dozen states, sometimes, like in Philadelphia, over strong community opposition against expert advice.
These barcodes go against the recommendation of the Blue Ribbon Commission on Pennsylvania's election security.
And with indications that there were conflicts of interest in the procurement process.
There were many issues in this process that are troubling.
6 swing states have now purchased voting machines that security experts say have this problem.
Serious fraud and potential abuse is going on pretty much in plain sight. Nobody wanted to talk to the whistleblower eyewitnesses either, remember? Now, regardless of what happened, this is exactly what I have been telling you. This is why election integrity measures are critical, and they need to happen, and they need to happen now. An election audit in Maricopa County in Arizona is happening. It's also turning up, well, pretty shocking results. According to the Arizona Senate President, Karen Fann, quote, companies hired by the legislature to review the election results came up with a different number of ballots than Maricopa County officials. Huh?
That's a lot. Now, this information was known, David, that hearing you were in was in 2021.
2022.
2022, okay.
Yeah.
Coy got kicked off of the, I believe that was in New Mexico, correct?
Yep, that was Otero County. And we completed, that was a preliminary update on our findings. The major finding, of course, was the general file for the 2020 election was erased illegally, which is exactly what Tina Peters was trying to keep from happening.
Right.
So we were able to figure that out forensically. And by the time we got done with our forensic audit in, I want to say, May or June of that year, we secured a vote to get rid of Dominion, get rid of the drop boxes, and to sue the Secretary of State. And within 24 hours, our Secretary of State referred the matter to the Supreme Court of New Mexico, and they made a referral to the Attorney General to prosecute the commission if they didn't rubber stamp basically what happened during the most recent election at the time. And so Coy held fast. And then I think we had a tie. So we only had 2 commissioners. One voted against, one voted for. Oh, that's what it was. Coy was the tiebreaker. And so when we still had a 2-1 majority of the commission, the ACLU funded a lawsuit outside of the county in Santa Fe, which is the most liberal county, and they used Coy's presence at the Capitol and said, look, he committed insurrection, even though there was never a charge of insurrection, but they used that as a pretext to find him civilly liable for insurrection, and that provided them with the grounds to remove him from office for life. That's how scared they were of maintaining that majority vote and seeing it through. And yeah.
And that's held up, right? Nobody would hear it.
So well, it was
civilly.
Yeah. So there have been challenges to it, but the outcome is, look, he not only is he not there anymore, his removal took place, and the corrupt governor, Michelle Lujan Grisham, was able to appoint his replacement. And so they were trying to undo all of the work that we did in the Otero audit. So the beast looms large in New Mexico. But yeah, that was a trying time for sure.
All right, let's talk, if we can, about this. You have your most recent episode that I put out on my socials. By the way, it was blocked on Facebook. They said that I was spamming, so they removed it. Okay. So I have to download it and put it back up on, which we'll do today after the show. But this is from what you were just talking about before, about people turning against President Trump. Now, I will tell you, I talked to, because of what the race in Colorado, I have an enormous amount of time to talk to Democrats, Republicans, and independents. And I was talking to this guy, Terrell, who was in Aurora, and I was at the airport. And he was standing there, and I was like, "Hey, who'd you vote for in the election?" And he said, "What?" And he was wearing his yellow vest. He's a airport. He works out on the where the airplanes are, doing chocks and pushing planes back. And so I don't know why I asked him, but I was like, "Hey, bro, how you doing?" He goes, "Good." I was like, "Who'd you vote for in the election in 2024?" And he stared at me for a minute, and he's like, "Come on, man." And I was like, "No, seriously, I just want to know who you voted for." And he goes, "Trump, man. Trump's my you-know-what."
Yeah.
And I was like, "Okay." I go, "Well, how do you feel now?" He goes, "Man, betrayed." And he said, he didn't use the word betrayed, he used something else that I'm not going to say on here, but he said they didn't arrest anybody. Like they've been, he said, "I've been a slave for my entire life," right? He goes, "But I'm not the only one." He said it, David. He didn't know anything about me. I sat there, I gave him my number. We're supposed to meet on Monday to have coffee. And we sat there for like 15 minutes talking about this, and he goes, "They need to arrest people. Like, people need to go get arrested. You shouldn't be able to get away with the stuff these people are getting away with." He goes, "It's wrong." He has friends. He uses a little more colorful language than I'm using right now, but he says he has friends that have gone to jail, and yet these people victimize our entire country, and nothing happens to them.
Yeah. Well, I mean, look, he's entitled to his opinion. I don't know who that person is as far as their buy-in on fighting the good fight. People can cast a
zero.
vote.
He just
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying, though. But that proves my point. People cast a vote, and then they think, this is what I feel like, Joe. I feel like a guidance counselor.
Me too.
And words come out of my mouth. I say them all the time. I'm sitting there going, "All right, how do you drain the swamp?" And I take them down a path. And I said, "Do you think the DOJ is capable of draining the swamp?" And when we're honest, when you've got the military option, they say no. And then they get pissed off over Pam Bondi, who's not in the military, excelling elsewhere. And so if you're a master strategist, if your plan is never to solve the problem through the DOJ, I've got everyone's attention. And so it's a matter of faith. Now, people say, "Well, I just don't believe that, because if it was up to me, because I'm smarter than Trump, they would have been arrested 6 months ago." It's like, okay, whatever. That's fine. That's fair. But this isn't really about whether or not there have been arrests. It's about a timetable and people wanting to take on the role of the president, to do more than just solve elections, but to take on and kill the cabal once and for all. And so if you look at the victories, if you see the playing board, it's easy to see the progress that we've made.
Yeah.
But if people are going to sit there and just sit there, okay, look, we're a year in. We're a year in. I haven't seen what I want to see. I could do it much better, and therefore I'm jumping ship. It's like, okay, you can do that. You can be the person that does that. But when the inevitably sets in, and you get what you want, you know how cheap it's going to be and how worthless it's going to be for people to come back and say, "Yeah, I was wrong. I apologize." That's what I don't do. I try to practice the discipline of sitting there, look at the magnitude of the problem. You get one shot. And that's what I've been doing since August, really, is telegraphing how you do this by the book. And you get the executive order that was brilliant, by the way, from Donald Trump, where it requires zero compliance from anyone in the state. Basically, you're going to use our list for your voter rolls from the DHS, from the Social Security Administration, that Elon Musk did last year with Doge. Everyone was pissed off then. What happened with Doge? Why didn't they do anything? Why didn't they arrest anything? Everything that Doge has done has been implemented into this executive order to ensure that you've got better voter rolls going forward. Is that the end all be all? No, it's a piece of the puzzle. But these are the victories that everyone's looking past, and I'm sitting there going, even then, Trump's not expecting anyone to get on board with that executive order.
So I just so you know, I think he's counting on them not doing it so that he can then go in with the military action and make sure that they're standing next to everything that's being done inside the elections and saying, okay, now we're going to do them over again, right? I mean, it's
But
like,
if you know that, we shouldn't be giving voice and life to the panicans.
Hold on, he's not panicking, because here's what I did. Here's what I said to him, and this is what I tell people all the time. I'm like, listen, here's why people are pissed off, but the people inside. I try to give So this morning when I woke up this morning, I woke up to an email where somebody was pissed off at the vice chair of the Colorado Republican Party who was just elected, and they called a guy names, right? And I had just met with him yesterday, and they're like screaming in all these chats, everything else, and I had to tell this guy that's my friend, I was like, listen, just settle down for a minute. He's been in the position for 4 days. like leave him alone. And I said it to this guy too. I was like, don't count Trump out. Everything will be fine, right? And if it's not, we always have each other, right? And he's like, yeah, so is anybody gonna get arrested? I go, I'm telling you, people are gonna get arrested. I'm in the Coomer lawsuit, right? I'm in the Coomer lawsuit next to President Trump he's getting sued with me in this deal, right? And so I will say this, and I said it to you, I've said it to everybody. I'm not standing against President Trump, not today, not tomorrow, not ever, right? But the people that are out there, they just don't know. They don't have access to any of that information. They're weary, right? So
they're weary. They're weary doing nothing.
Right.
This is where I push back, Joe. Is that, look, I've earned my hopium.
Yeah.
Because it's not me just
I call
reporting.
You for mine.
Yeah. Well, I don't just report on Q drops. It's like that was me at that hearing with Jeff Lemberg after we scanned 25,000 ballots in that county, went on to another 8 counties. I've defended Lemberg's deposition in the curling case. I mean, we've gone out there. We have earned our scars, our criticisms, the hit pieces, and so the entire Gideon project was about not being the person that does nothing. It was all about going in and doing battle in these local meetings and representing we the people, providing solutions in the event that you don't have a military approach, how to say no and how to do it effectively. Right. So, I guess what I'm just not interested in doing for anyone right now is we're here, we're standing. And that was a byproduct of many, many victories that we just seem to overlook. We overlook the fact that we are here, not Biden, not Kamala Harris, and we're still in the fight. But you have to do this in meticulous fashion. And so it's like,
I guess that's what he wanted to hear, right? He wanted to hear that. We only talked for 15 minutes, but at the end of it, he gave me a chest bump, and I said, hey, listen, I'll reach out to you. We'll have coffee. I had Lynn, my assistant, reach out to him and say, hey, let's have coffee. And here's a guy that I never would have met otherwise that is walked away after 15 minutes feeling better than he did when he walked into it.
But if I had to guess, Terrell's on the tarmac during the first Trump admin. He was on the tarmac during the Biden regime. He's on the tarmac now. So when I start looking at the weariness and the suffering of a lot of people, it's like, you just don't know what suffering is. Your suffering is you opened your phone and you saw something that unsettled your nerves. But at the end of the day, you're eating. You got your family. I mean, that's the kind of stuff that drives me crazy. It's like, where do people get the hubris to be so upset about the timetable of a guy that's literally got everyone against him? And this is why I guess I'm so fired up, Joe, is that we had a chance to stand with the guy during a 48-hour period. We had a chance to stand in solidarity with the commander-in-chief. And we got to see people that showed their truth colors, which is they're the fucking wind. They were nothing better than the fucking wind. That's it. Yeah. And I'm tired of rolling with people that are nothing better than the wind.
Well, let's talk about that, actually, because you wrote this. This is a 2-minute clip from that episode that talks about the fake MAGA. Which, by the way, I heard, they're like, David's on a tear. I was like, I shared it when like this. I was like, this. And people called me, and I was like, he's on fire. Look, I love it, David. I love it. But we're just, people aren't built the way we're built. They didn't spend the last 6 years fighting.
Yeah. I think we help them. by telling them, like, look, just shut up. You haven't earned your panic. You haven't earned anything. Like they act like they're in Iran, like, avoiding gunfire. Like that's the craziness. We've got people that have never served, not over there. It's not even a real war.
Yeah.
You go to fight the United States military. Our ideas of war are so warped. We are basically the guys that are bringing the big stick everywhere. And that includes Iran.
Big stick.
We've got the big stick.
All right, let's play this. Like, I want to see this you guys, if you haven't seen it, and most people have, because you send me all these messages back, but check this out. This is a trailer from the most recent episode.
Alex Jones, once a loud voice for the cause, now broke down in tears on his broadcast and urged his listeners to cut bait on Trump.
When your ankles swell up 3 times the size they were before, that means heart failure. And he does look sick. And he does babble and, sound like the brain's not doing too hot. And so we just cut bait on Trump and we just mobilize against the Democrats. We need to be sad about Trump. This is not funny. This is not good. But he's gone. And that's it.
Like an ocean tide, Jones has historically moved towards Trump when he proves his doubters wrong, standing victorious, only to fall away twice as fast when it looks like Trump is defeated. Titles of truth teller, fair-weather patriot, and controlled opposition all fill the atmosphere. Yours truly gets attacked for backing Trump, rain or shine. Accusations of idolatry, worship, or failing to see him as the Antichrist. I've heard it all. Odd, as I was a never-Trumper in 2016 and have never shied away from holding unpopular views. Life has battered me 1,000 different ways, and I think it forced me to see a man, battered more than anyone, more clearly. A decade's worth of study. When I can't make sense of the man, I revisit the following. 1. If Trump was bad, evil would not try to kill him. 2. If Trump did not threaten the old order, the bot press would not lie about him every hour of every day. 3. A man cannot be the servant of evil when his mere living has woken more people to the face of evil than any other thing in our time. 4. No man can play the deep game and at the same time be led around by the nose like a fool. I stand by it. Every one of those I guess items there.
What you said was actually biblical. You can't expose evil by being evil, right? So you can't have evil fight against you if you're evil. You can't. 2 negatives don't make a positive, right? And so I look at this whole thing with President Trump, and I liken it to the loyalty that you have to have if you go into battle. And right now we're in battle. We're at war. And President Trump has proven himself to be a fearless fighter. Weary, because he's been fighting for so long. And he didn't have to do it. But fearless. I mean, he just is one of the most fearless people he's just fearless.
And look what it gets him in a 48-hour news cycle with Alex Jones. I mean, the guy gets shot at, and this guy saying, all that's out the window. I'm sad. You should be sad. I mean, it was just so manipulative, the way that messaging was. And it's like, okay, and what are they doing? It's not just him. It's Matt Barnes talking about the 25th Amendment. They're all propping up J.D. Vance. It feels just like Mike Pence 2.0, frankly.
2018, same thing.
We've got our guy. Let's push Trump out the door and prop up, MAGA light, which is JD. And I've got lots of questions about that guy, but it's just so expedient. Like we need to move on and cut bait, and we're going to use the Iran conflict that everyone has a caricature of, It's like Iran's not a real threat, guys. Iran's not a thing. The thing behind Iran is what's real. And no one talks about the thing that's behind Iran. Who is funding Khomeini? Who are the funders? Who benefits from the forever conflict between Israel and Iran? Why is it so remarkable that Trump got buy-in from all of these different Saudi countries? It's unheard of, the fact that he's got a coalition of people in the region that are willing to play ball with him. No other leader can get you there. So,
well, they were pretty upset over the. I mean, this is something. I mean, I got blasted for saying this, but and by the way, what you're saying about the Republican Party turning against President Trump is happening right now inside the Republican Party in Colorado. People are like, oh, you know, he's one of those guys, and they turn against everything. The elections aren't stolen. They were like, oh, I'm for Trump. The elections were stolen. Now they're like, oh, no, the elections weren't stolen, right? Mm-hmm. So you have people that are literally going full retard. I mean, I don't know what else to call it. And
yeah, they only respect power. These were the same terrible people that when it was questionable about Trump securing the nomination, we're all in for DeSantis and everyone else. He wins. Again, short-term memory loss. I love this guy. I'm with him because he's wielding power. And then as soon as there was some engineered popular opinion that someone could seize on, which was his messaging in the Truth Post, which was completely by design. It was completely by design.
Yeah.
And he knew exactly who was going to fumble all over themselves. He knew who was going to run with CNN's false reporting on the 10 items that they came to agreement with, which was completely false. And within minutes, it's like debunked. And here we are. We're on the precipice of something that, frankly, the fact that he's not even given the requisite praise for what's being accomplished in Iran right now. It's amazing that we have the opportunity for peace, and it doesn't make him a shill for Israel. It just puts Israel's on a short leash themselves.
Yeah, so this putting Israel on a leash, there's some massive fights happening or protests happening in Israel right now, but we don't hear anything about them, right? They're actually protesting what's happening in Lebanon, nothing to do with Iran, everything to do with what they're doing in South Lebanon. So there's a break too in what's happening between leadership in Israel and the people of Israel, holistically, because these are really powerful protests that are happening. Now, again, everyone is saying that they have to do something about Iran, and you talk about this coalition of other countries. I agree with you. Now, but how do we get to a resolution when the very ethos, the underbelly of Iran, and maybe this is a philosophical question on what comes out of this fire? What comes out of what's happening in Iran? Khomeini's dead, right? The entire guard is all but destroyed. You have a couple of key leaders that basically are the equivalents of town council members in the state that are left, and they're just trying to figure it out. But what comes out of this when you have so much Stockholm syndrome happening in a country of 70 million people?
Well, I imagine that the Iranian people are much more educated accurately about what's going on than people that are commenting on social media in America. Yeah. And so that's the first thing.
I have friends there.
But when we talk about Iran's military, well, what fund? Like, I keep getting back to the same question. What funded Iran? Well, you can thank Obama in part, right? Who was behind Obama? Muslim Brotherhood. So you've got all of these PSYOP intelligence agency groups that are largely bankrolled by central bankers who profit off of war. So we're either going to take the collateral or we're going to charge interest on whatever we're charging for the war machine to ensure that the elites are happy. And so it's like this jewel crown of chaos is what I would refer to it. Everything that's been happening in the Middle East ever since the CIA got involved in Iran, however long ago. We're talking about installation of the Shah, and they've never looked back. We've had this same set of talking points of a nuclear Iran. And anytime anyone wants to push back with American sovereignty, putting America first and not being intertwined into the NATO strategy or into the United Nations, then we've got some false flag that emerges that's funded by the intelligence agency groups going straight to the terrorists in Iran. And then the president, whoever it is, has a giant mea culpa. Okay, we're tapping out. My poll numbers are tanking. And Trump's the first president in the last 50 years that's like, poll numbers be damned. I see the game. I'm going to play the long game, and I'm going to destabilize the region and take away the chokehold that the central bankers have in the area. That's what we're talking about. And if people want to have an intelligent conversation about Iran, they need to stop thinking about Iran, Israel, and think about the bankers behind both sides. And then it becomes much clearer. I would really recommend that this audience put Promethean Action on their watch list. These two old ladies that, I shouldn't say that they're old, but they've been doing it a long time. Yeah. Another guy is Brigadier General Blaine Holt, has one of the sharpest minds and insights on what's truly going on in Iran. And look, you wouldn't know it from reading social media that Trump is having any successes, but he is dominating the region through misdirection, through his posts, through his negotiating. And we've come super far in a year and a half in the region. It's going to be all for naught if he can't see it through. I agree with that, but he's going to see it through.
Is this, let me just ask the question, because, you and I have had conversations about people that he has in the administration, namely Pam Bondi, and I know we agree fully on what President Trump is doing. And, I don't know if we agree on Susie Wiles. I actually like Susie Wiles. Everyone's like, oh, she's terrible. She's a demon. I'm like, I don't think she is. So, what do we make of the Pam Bondi deal? What do we make of these shifts that are happening, and the fact that the FBI, went after Brian Cole? You have Kardashian Patel and Dan Bongino, and you got all these people that frankly, they look inept.
Sure,
they look inept.
And some do, yeah. I think there's two categories, Joe. I think there's the category of we've got a lot of people that probably aren't great individuals. And they've been strategically placed there because they were never the solution.
Yeah.
And they draw our fire. And they're probably playing the deep game to undermine Trump where they are, but Trump's ahead of them. But, if you were to tell me a year ago or a year and a half ago that Bondi's the solution through a RICO racketeering prosecution, I'll tell you you're insane. You can't prosecute the amount of numbers that you need through RICO racketeering. I've actually done a racketeering case. It took 7 years.
It would take too long.
Indictment to verdict. So, okay, you're not, and then that was against people that looked the part with tattoos and everything else. We're not talking about John Brennan, James Comey, Hillary Clinton, Barack Obama. So they weren't the solution. So I would say that the cabinet members that have shown competence thus far, Tulsi, she's talking about machines. She's talking about ODNI. They've seized voting machines in Puerto Rico. She was on site in Fulton County. Scott Bessent, wildly competent on tracking all of the terrorist activity from Antifa, from the cartels. You have to build it out before you conquer. They built it out before they extracted Maduro. Even the stuff that people miss over the renaming of
Department of War,
the Panama Canal, the Gulf of Mexico now being the Gulf of America. It's now the American Canal. What did they have to do? They had to bring ships through those canals. They weren't considered international waters if you're in the Gulf of America. They had perfect placement for the extraction of Maduro. We don't remember that these things would make for the glory of an administration, and yet it's already old news. And so he's working so quickly. You also have, I'd say, extreme competence from Rubio, like what I've seen from him. And then you've got kind of the Bongino, Cash, Bondi, what the hell's going on? And I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
I'm okay with that incompetence if it's not the plan. And what I've been telling people is it's not the plan. It's just not.
Okay, so
You play poker. You play
Yeah.
poker. All right.
Yeah.
And part of it's maintaining the bluff and not letting people see what you have. Trump's chief power, the strongest power he has, is not the DOJ or the FBI. So what is it that we're scrambling around still in the dark about what he's doing with the one thing that he has that no one else has, the United States military?
Yeah, and it's mobilizing in ways that we didn't see happening, and so we know that this is the case, but we look at the distractors and the people that are in positions that are purposely kind of putting roadblocks in front of it, including people. I mean, you said Pence 2.0. I'm not so sure that I don't think that J.D. Vance is behind all this stuff, but I look at it and go, okay, so how much can we trust J.D. Vance, and should there have been a second choice? And after reading his book and spending time reading some of the papers that he's written, I have a hard time believing he's a bad guy, but I also don't think we have a deep bench. We don't have anybody that has as much courage as President Trump. And if that information's in President Trump's head, what's 2.0 look like? What's the end of the next 2 years look like? And we're going into this the midterms, and I keep saying we got to move fast. We got to move faster. We got to move faster. Go faster. And I get it. We're only a year and 3 months in, but I think my greatest trepidation is the idea that this mind rot is working, right? And it's working because people are, as you say, they're maybe not in the fight, but they're voting. And when you eliminate all the 30% of the grift and the graft, the 30% of the false fake voting, by the way, you're going to see votes go down 30 to 40%, easy. Mm-hmm. With if these states are doing what they're supposed to do and they're following the rules, which I don't think Colorado will, California will, Washington will, Oregon will. I can tell you the states that won't, right? The captured states. But if they follow the rules, you're going to see a precipitous drop in the number of people that vote.
Yeah, but the question is, how are you going to fund your elections if you don't do what he says? I mean, honestly, that's why the executive order is a masterstroke. It's like, look, you're going to use the lists that were compiled by our federal agencies from DHS to get non-U.S. citizens off the rolls, to get dead people off the rolls.
Right.
And they don't have to. And so Colorado doesn't have to, but if they do that, then Scott Bessent's going to be directed to stop disbursements from HAVA to give them federal monies. Most people's general funds, if they're looking at their operating budgets, Joe, everyone's in the hole without the printing press, without the federal government coming through. So, sure, file your injunction, file your lawsuits, but you're not going to have the money if you don't implement the reforms. And so it's like, yeah, you want to use the U.S. Postal Service to deliver the mail-in ballots? It's going to have the barcode, and it's going to be based on our data registry list. And if you don't want to, fine. So it's not the panacea that's going to fix everything, but it's going to exert massive pressure for entities that have no interest whatsoever in supporting or implementing. They're going to try it any way they can, which is fine, because the chaos is going to show that the military is the only way. And so you just got to look at the end game here. You and I both know at this point it's too late in the day to train up a bunch of clerks that are frankly complicit in committing treason against our nation. I would have given them the benefit of the doubt 4 years ago, but in the year 2026, the fact that they're going back, just as you said, our elections are fine, Trump's on the way out, they're changing their tune right away, just tells me you're going to have some type of National Guard presence in counting the votes. And if we don't have it this year, well, you guys can say whatever mean things you want. The point is, it's not about whether I'm going to be right or I'm going to be wrong. You're going to wish to God I'm right, because you're not going to have a semblance of a fair election unless these reforms are placed into place. And so I just don't see Trump coming in through some miraculous way, being the beneficiary of some cyber intrusion in Serbia, to be placed back into office and not be aware of the stakes going into this year.
All right, well, this is where we get into agreement on pretty much everything. And that leads me back to but God. I mean, the two words that I think that we've been living on since 2020, right? But God, but God, President Trump would not be here because he would have not moved his head and he wouldn't have shot his ear. It would have shot him in the head, right? But God, President Trump was reelected in 2024, and we didn't see it. You and I, we didn't. We had some pretty hard conversations. Like it was difficult, right? Going into that election, a lot of stress, and then but God, and so now it's really hard for us to question the times that God gets involved. We have to stay committed to a strategy, and the strategy is to support President Trump through the entire thing. We keep thinking that he's changed who he is, and frankly, he's just maneuvering through the chaos. I call it 5D chess, call it whatever you want, but he's maneuvering through it. But I think he can see all the bad people too. I really do.
Yeah, I agree. And that's really, I think, the salient point. This isn't about putting your faith in Trump. It's placing your faith in the clear divine appointment and anointing that God's given him. And the reason why, I'm confident in not ever betting against Trump is because he's the tool of God. He is absolutely his instrument. And as long as he continues to be God's instrument, you're not fighting against Trump. You're fighting against the creator of heaven and earth. And so, I think we're due some victories, but, I'm just reminded, just don't be the person that takes the black pill the day before victory. Don't be that person. Find it within you to honor not, the man in a 48-hour window. He has given you a decade worth of tape. And it's really easy to make sense of Trump if you look at that decade.
Yeah, he does nothing but win. I mean, if you were scripting a movie, this would be the way you'd want it to end. President Trump on top.
Yeah, your indictments, how did that work out? How did your mugshot work out? I mean, how did the Stormy Daniels case work out? None of this stuff. Either everything's on appeal, it's crumbling in the appellate courts, it's crumbling before the Supreme Court. The convicted felon is the president. Nothing has worked that's been generated by the enemy. And it gets back to what you just said with, when people were accusing Jesus of casting out demons because he was demon possessed, that's where the scriptures were on the rebuke. That kingdom that cannibalizes itself is no kingdom. And so people need to figure out where they stand. It's easy when you look at just the world's reaction to Trump, and I think you can be confused by Trump all you want, but take a moment and say, okay, is the legacy media praising Trump ever?
No,
usually not. Who's pissed off? All the people we hate. And if you stick to those two core principles, you're going to be okay. You won't get lost in the storm.
Well, we're Team Trump for a lot of reasons, but I do put stuff out there to get people to understand or to plead with President Trump to do things, because you have to have an escape valve. I know you'd say tell him to shut up. I don't normally tell him to shut up anymore, but sometimes I do actually. But I want to talk about something else.
If it was another time, Joe, I probably would be more patient. But we're really fresh off on what I think just a stunning array of stupidity from conservative folks that really thought this was the moment to jump ship, and now they're looking like complete idiots. And
why
maybe
would you ever do that to them? Why would you never stand on the side of the devil ever? So where are you the devil? It's not even hard to see.
Yeah, so I'm an intensely loyal person. Just that's my personality, and sometimes I've stuck around the wrong people too long. So it's not like I always get it right. But when it comes to Trump, and I see people that have leveraged his influence and grown their influence on social media when it was fun and easy to do so, to cut bait so quickly. And the list was long, Joe. It wasn't like just Alex Jones. The list was really long for people that are like, yep, time to turn the page. So
it happened with the same. It was the same Mockingbird media.
Yeah.
It happened with the same vernacular, no matter where you look.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I didn't, so and this is why I stayed away from it, because I didn't want to get in the fray, because I would have spent all day just bashing people. And then you saw Benny Johnson actually came out and said that what Israel's doing against President Trump to undermine him is crap. And I was like, oh, Benny Johnson is actually going after Israel? What is happening here?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
A little strange. All right. Can I keep you for 4 more posts so I can show you some stuff?
Yes, let's roll through them quick, because I got another event I've got to get to.
The LGMPQO, whatever you want to call it, has now rebranded itself. Did you see this? So now we can have a little fun. This is the Canadian MP, Leah Gazan, that had this to say. It's just a 30-second clip. Play it.
When the budget was released, I was shocked to find out that Prime Minister Carney is cutting $7 billion between Indigenous Services Canada and Crown Indigenous Relations. They provided $0 to deal with the ongoing genocide of MMIW G2S LGBTQIA+. This is abhorrent. This is callous. This is callous because the very Liberal government that has stripped organizations of life-sustaining funding.
Okay, I just want to tell you, it was MMIWG, I can't say it fast, 2S LGBTQIA+++++.
Oh my goodness.
This is how retarded.
She had to practice that to have her speech. You know, Garrett Ziegler put out a post that the plus stands for pedophile.
Yeah.
And so when you got the LGBTQ, like that's what it is. It just means pedophile. So yeah, they're too bad you don't have the funding to sustain your pedophile network.
So sad. So sad. But then I want you to see this. This is in Fairfax County, Virginia. Sadly, I know a lot about Fairfax County, Virginia, and 3 out of the 4. Well, here, go take a look at this.
Out of the 4 murders in Fairfax County, Virginia so far this year have been allegedly at the hands of illegal immigrants, including a stabbing at a bus stop, a machete hacking of a man in his own home, and a beating murder of a 3-month-old infant. And just last week, a Haitian illegal alien caught and released at the border, then granted TPS by the Biden administration, was arrested after he was caught on video using a hammer to brutally bludgeon a gas station clerk to death in a seemingly random attack. The victim was a mother of 2, and several GOP politicians are outraged about it. Senator Jim Banks writing, quote, "Another innocent life taken by a violent illegal allowed into our country by Joe Biden. We must deport every illegal." Senator Tommy Tuberville writing, quote, "Reminder, DHS has been shut down for 52 days because Democrats refuse to fund the agencies responsible for detaining and deporting these animals. He should have never been in our country in the first place." And Bill, back out here live, today's ICE press conference is
They want to hamstring the DHS and ICE, and in another part of that, the guy that killed Irina Zarutska, you know, the one that was killed, stabbed on the bus.
Mm-hmm.
He was found incapable to proceed on the state murder charges brought against DeCarlo Brown Jr. So basically, they're saying that they're going to say that he's not guilty by reason of insanity, as he stabbed this woman to death. And this is like the 3rd time that he's had a hate crime that he's committed, but found that he can't stand trial because he's incapable to proceed. It blows my mind. DeCarlos DeJuan Brown. Here's another one in custody on a federal indictment in North Carolina. Oh, this is him. Okay. Can you put that up? Oh, they federally charged him. Okay. So they then turned around and federal. Okay. I kept saying to myself, I thought that, okay, put this up. So they actually are charging him on the federal level. David, do you think that they can give him the death penalty on the federal level if they said at the state level that he's not competent to stand trial?
Well, look, it's you've got a finding. Usually, what happens, you'll bring in an expert, a psychologist of some kind, and they'll provide testimony on whether someone's got the capacity to testify. And if you don't have the capacity, it doesn't mean that you're released. Typically, what it means is you're going to go to a padded cell, and then you're going to be in limbo forever. How long? So when I was a state prosecutor, we did have some legitimately crazy people that spent the rest of their lives in a mental health institution. But I could see a good defense attorney in the federal jurisdiction using the findings from the finding of incapacity and trying to leverage it in the federal cases. So it becomes tougher to prove because you already have a finding, and courts don't typically like to buck the findings in other cases. But they could rule otherwise. I mean, that's a possibility.
So much that we see, but it's good that we're getting to the bottom of it at least, and it's good that the feds are paying attention. There's a case, Lee Keltner, who was shot by a 9 News security guard in Colorado. I just sent up a package to the DOJ saying that the city and county of Denver said they couldn't charge him with murder. He shot an unarmed man, so I'm hoping that they actually do the same thing in the Denver case. The state wouldn't prosecute, but I'm hoping the feds do. Killed a hat maker. 2020, October 3rd. Bro, it was great to have you on the show. Thank you very much. Always good to see you.
Yeah, love you. Keep your head up. I know you're drawing a ton of flack, doing God's work. I'm watching it very closely.
Yeah, it's just a lot, and with all the. But it's okay. It's okay. It's less flack, and actually the people that were running away from me back in 2020 are coming back. So it's kind of a weird set of circumstances. So now I'm just going to get to where I use my skills to help others and maybe hopefully fix what's happening in the GOP in Colorado and make a model for other states. We'll see. We'll see how it goes.
Amen. Well, I'm taking off. I got to go brand some cattle, so I'm hitting the road for a 6-hour drive and.
All right.
Be up early in the morning. God bless y'all. Take care.
God bless you. Take care. All right. We're going to cut early today. And you say, why? Well, I got a lot of stuff to do because of the Colorado GOP. So I'd love to stay and do this longer. We'll probably pick a day where I do it longer. But I didn't get a chance to tell David about all the great comments you guys had for David specifically. He can hang with us. No. He knew he did. I'm just reading some of the comments. All right. So listen, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Pandora, iHeartRadio, TuneIn, and more. I can't say hi to who's watching the show. They watch us all the time. Make sure they give us a thumbs down at least once. So just if you guys can, give me a thumbs up on the different platforms. Yes, I already know that we're being... I keep getting told by people, they send me text messages and emails every day that say, Joe, you're being censored on this platform or that platform. There's nothing I can do except for continue to speak truth and operate in that truth. Here's what I want to leave with you, specific to what David's talking about. But God. People ask me all the time, they're like, Joe, well, this has happened, this has happened, this has happened. I said, but God. And look, am I discouraged at times? Yes. Have I shown that discouragement with you because evil seems to win? Yes. But we got to do those 4 things. And I was in Dallas for a hockey game, and it was pretty awesome. Right, we're in a suite in Dallas with a group on a business trip, and this woman in the elevator sees my sweatshirt. And can you pull up the sweatshirt, by the way, on the Honor Bound? So they had the sweatshirt in white. I wore the white sweatshirt, and it said, pray, stand, speak, act. And the elevator just stopped working and kept stopping at every level. And it wasn't supposed to. It was supposed to go straight to the Admiral level. If you've ever been to the Dallas thing for hockey. And she asked me about it, and so I sat there, and it was as if it just came to me. And I was like, well, let me just talk to you about what it means to pray and why you should pray and And so I walked through all the different Bible verses, and she's sitting there talking to me, and she's like, and my wife is there, and she's like, I need to live, this is words to live by. And I go, these are the only words you live by. So the burn on your cheek is nicely healed, praise the Lord. Yeah, thank you, Jeff, appreciate that. So I say this sweatshirt, this pray, stand, speak, act, this cross that's in my lobby when you walk in the office, it says pray, stand, speak, act, that Richard Terry actually built for me. It means something. It actually affects people's lives. It lets people can read it, understand it. It's a conversation piece. So when you buy these sweatshirts, these pray, stand, speak, act sweatshirts, these hoodies, it's not just, or t-shirts, it's not just a shirt. It's not just a sweatshirt. It's a conversation starter, and it's an alignment where you can find people in the community that align with their belief and their feelings about the Lord. And this was just a black lady sitting on a chair, sitting inside the elevator. You know, have you ever been up and down to take you up the elevator? And it was pretty amazing. So I told her where to get one. So if she's listening and or she got one, we'll see here in the next couple of days. All right, let's pray it out. Father God, thank you for having David on. Thank you for the fight. Thank you for the neck-up checkup that he gave all of us. And thank you for the impatience that he showed. Because I think that's the same impatience, Father, that when we become weary, we forget to just trust in you. We forget to stay faithful to understanding the outcome. And even when the outcome is not what we think it is, Father, it's still our responsibility to make sure we maintain faith and that everything is supposed to work out exactly the way it works out. While also recognizing that it's our responsibility to get in the gap and to continue to work the problem. Father, we are so grateful in 100 different ways for the blessings you've given in our lives and for the fact that we live in this beautiful country, the United States of America. And whether you're independent or a Republican or a Democrat, or a part of any other party other than some of these evil parties that are out there, we know that we fight every day. We have this resistance in our head from what we hear and see in the media versus what we experience in our lives. So, Father, I just ask you to give us the strength to stand and to speak truth. And, Father, I'm asking for a powerful blessing over President Trump right now. I'm asking you to protect him, to lift the burden off his shoulders, and to give discernment to the people that are in the communities that would say that President Trump is somehow not aware of his surroundings or the decisions he's making. Father, I would just ask you to give him the ability to see through all the attacks that he has and the betrayals, and get to a place of peace, but also a place of winning, that we can win going down this path in order to protect the interests of your people, regardless of whether that's here or around the world. Father, we know that there's an immense amount of suffering. We know that truth is not always the thing that everyone strives to achieve. But Father, I just ask you to give us the ability to stand in truth. And I know that I get fired up, and I keep reminding myself of all the last 6 years and the pain that I've been through, and punching back at some of this evil. And so, Father, I just ask you to give me the ability, the tools to be able to be patient when I need to be patient, and to punch only when necessary to punch. Help me, Father, that I may serve others while making sure that I'm focused heavily on the one thing that matters, and that is restoration. So, Father, thank you again, and I ask these things humbly in Jesus' name. Amen. All right, so it's good to see all of you, and thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Whew. Yeah, the burn on my cheek is healing. It's not healing fast enough, though, so we'll see. We'll figure it out. All right, God bless you all. Have a great day. Now, tomorrow, just so you know, Patrick is on. He's going to have a fire show. Why? Well, I'm going to be at the assembly down in Pueblo. And I may try to pop in and say hello to him a little bit, but he is on fire. The one thing I say about Patrick is he's like kind of become my spirit animal. So he comes in, talks, and he has a better accent than I do because he's a East Coast New Yorker. He's from the Northeast, but his his demeanor and the way that he handled things, the way he sees things. And I want to remind all of you that Patrick has been in the fight. He gave up a storied career, and he did what he loved doing, which is serving children, serving our community, serving in education. You know, he's been in that fight. He's been in the fight right now. We got some updates that we'll kind of talk through when we can later. But he didn't come to work at and with Untamed because he's like, oh yeah, I'm going to go do this. This is what I want to do. He did this because he had been shut out of an industry that he had given his entire life to. And if you want to have if you want to see a perspective of a guy that's probably been through as much of a beating as I have, but in a different way, that's Patrick. So who called him Black Pill Pat? That's crazy. Look, if you guys saw the conversations we have in the morning, I go, how you doing? I'll say something, and Patrick will look at the camera and just shake his head. And I was like, look at Patrick. He had the WTF going on. Yeah. Somebody said burn, baby, burn. What happened with burn? Anything happen with burn? I missed something? Yeah. I know how it feels to be forced out of a career. Yeah. But he's still fighting. And that's the thing that I think God is, I think life is a test. Are you willing to fight all the way to the end for what's right? And if you are, you're God's people, right? You're the Gideon 300. And so you're counted among the very few. And for that, I would say I'm very proud and grateful to have you on my side. So God bless you all. Enjoy Patrick tomorrow. I'll pop in if I can, but yeah, I'll see you soon.
Rise up untamed in the heart of the fight where the wild ones roam. Joe Oltmann's calling, bringing truth back home. From conservative daily to this untamed fire, we shatter the silence, lifting spirits higher. No chains can hold us, no lies can prevail. Authentic and fearless on this rugged trail. Patriots gather under stars and stripes. Untamed nation, igniting the night. Untamed nation, let the truth roll out in this land of the free. Standing proud from sea to shining sea, we won't back down. Catch the fire, wear the crown. Untamed nation, it's our battle song, motivating hearts where the brave belong. Yeah, untamed and wild, forever strong. Play it again all night long. Time to heal. Joe's voice leads the untamed crew. Truth matters through and through. Untamed nation, let the truth roll out in this land of the free. Standing proud from sea to shining sea, we won't back down. Catch the fire, wear the crown. Untamed nation, it's our battle song, motivating hearts where the brave